I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. He's the author of the book. Now what? No other than Mr. Ahmad Vital. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Ahmad. Can you please introduce more about yourself?
Well, first, Daniel, thank you for having me on to your podcast. At the core, I've been a writer almost as soon as I could walk. I always say I learned how to walk and then I learned how to write. I wrote my first book when I was 11. I began writing for newspapers when I was 14 years old. And so writing has been the greatest gift God could have ever given to me. And so I'm just excited to be on and share this writing journey. Obviously, with my latest book now, what is the third published book I have? Came out a year and a half ago. So I'm looking forward to sharing with your audience ways that now what can help change their lives.
Mr. Ahmad Vital, thank you so much for sharing your talents to the world. What does creating the most of life mean to you personally?
It means to whatever is the best of your skill set, your talents, and your abilities that you maximize whatever that looks like. So we all get a choice of what we want to do in our lives. Obviously, I chose to write, I chose to speak, I chose to coach, I chose to consult, and I chose to do youth ministry work. But whatever you choose, you want to make sure and look at that very thing that it is and find out as much as you can about that craft and give the best effort to those whom you serve. And I think once we really lean in on what is most important and that leads the way in our lives and make sure to serve the greatest number of people with what you do, I think we'll be all right.
Certainly. How can self reflection help you determine your next steps in life?
Oh man, self-reflection is it's a major key component because if you can't look in the mirror and understand how you got there and what's your trajectory in life is, I don't think that we can move forward because we need to be able to look and take full accountability for where we are in our lives. Now, of course, there may be some people out there who are quite young in life, and then maybe they're under uh, the umbrella of their parents and maybe not fully taking care of themselves. But once you cross over into adulthood, you must start taking accountability for everything that happens in your life. And with that, um, be able to reflect and say, how did I get here? And what do I want to do to not only get out of this, but to improve and learn from that which was done, uh, mostly self inflicted, and be able to move forward.
Now, what are the biggest obstacles preventing you from moving forward?
Man, mostly doubt and fear. I think that many times we fear the unknown, and the unknown is the unknown for a reason. And once we can overcome the fear of our own reflection, the fear of our own self doubts, we can move forward. And the main thing is just to just own up to it. Hey, I fell short in what I was trying to do. But anybody who's been in business, anybody who's done anything of note, anybody who's achieved any level of success has failed many more times than they have succeeded. And so once we can look and reflect and say, okay, here's where I may have gone wrong, maybe it's time to start moving a little bit differently and take accountability and move forward. And I'm going to be using that word accountability quite a bit this evening because I believe that a lot of times we don't want to look in the mirror and we don't want to take account for what we've done and how things turned out. And Daniel, if I'm honest, sometimes you can put your best foot forward and do all the things that you're supposed to do with a particular situation, and it still doesn't turn out. You still may end up losing out in that. That's part of the process as well. Sometimes your best isn't good enough. And so we have to go back to the drawing board and try something new.
Trust something new. Very well said, Mr. Hamad. Very well said. So, now what? How can understanding your core values shape your decisions?
Your core values typically are the things that I like to call non-negotiables. Maybe you have certain habits and certain things that you do every day. For some people, it might be waking up and praying every day. For some people, it may be running 3 miles a day. For some people, it may be reading to their children before they leave home. Whatever those non negotiables and those core values you have in your life, that becomes the why, that becomes the fuel of your life. And I think once we stick to those core values and we stick to those things that are near and dear to our hearts, life will produce more for us because we are staying true to something that is gratifying. We're staying true to something that is altruistic. We're staying true to something that has needed value and serves the needs of others and also brings fulfillment to ourselves. And once we live with a heart to serve and a heart to give, and we are living that out in real time every day of our lives and with those values, I believe that life can bring more fruit to bear for us, and then we can do a lot more amazing things with our lives.
Amazing things, people. So, what strategies can you use to gain clarity for your goals and purpose?
Well, first and foremost, and I know this might be foreign to some people, but you have to write things down. I know we live in a digital age. We have iPads, we have iPhones, and we have so many different speak to talk type of mechanisms out there. And of course, AI is out here now, and that's been a major boost to our productivity. But pen to pad and pen to notebook, pen to composition book, I think that is still a great medium to use to be able to get your thoughts out. Because sometimes we have so many technological things around us. Sometimes we just need to get away and get alone with our thoughts to be able to really hone down and write down, like, what is it that I want. Now you can transfer it to typing and to something digital later, but I think just to start off, just a pen, your pad, and just outside air can just get us started with on a many of things. And I really hone in on that very much so, where it's just like, go out and touch some grass, go out and get some fresh air, get some vitamin D in your system, and just get outside and just write, just reflect, just unload all your thoughts, journal, all these different things. And people say, what do you journal about? Whatever comes to mind. Now, if you're trying to sift through a particular issue, then yes, you want to go write all of those things down as well. But sometimes we just need to just write, just to have a sense of freedom, a sense of coming out and just knowing and getting some thoughts off of out of our head and on the pad. And so then you have kind of that, what I like to call that circular motion. You think it, you write it, and then you read it, you recite it to yourself, and then it comes back to you, full circle from pen to pad to back to your mind to reciting it to hearing it. And all those things are beautiful, but it all starts with pen to pad and writing things down.
Yes, journaling, people, is highly recommended. So, how does your mindset affect your ability to take action?
Ooh. Well, if you must look at what you're thinking about and how you're thinking, and that will dictate some of your actions. So if you wake up and think that you're a victim, if you wake up thinking that you're not worthy, if you wake up thinking that you're not able to win, you look at yourself as maybe someone who's lesser. Those results are going to play out in real life for you. And so mindset is the foundation of all of the things we do in our lives. And there's many different ways you can go about that. Obviously, positive self-talk is going to be better. And I like to do an exercise called "What's Good Here," and this allows people to maybe have a little bit of a pity party to start off. So, sometimes people wake up and think that the world is against them, and I say, hey, why don't you write down every place where you think your life is just completely terrible, all of it. Get you one of those long yellow legal pads, and on the left side, write down every part of your life that you absolutely cannot stand. It is so bad, there's no way out of it, and it's just the worst. And I want you to write all of those down. Get them all out of your head. Get them all out of your heart. Get them all out of your every part of you. Just let out all of the things you don't like about yourself and the things you don't like about your life. And then I want you to take that pad and I want you to put it away for at least minimum 4 to 6 hours. Ideally, you want to go almost a full day and just let it sit over there and then go about your day and do what you do. And then I want you to come back with a fresh head and look at that pad again. And what I found when I've done this exercise many times is that when you look at that pad and you start looking over some of those things, you may say, well, you know, that was a long time ago. Why am I still thinking about that? That's not really a factor anymore. And then you may look on it and say, that's really not so bad. And that's not really something that has any real life application in my life right now. I've not spoken to that person in 4 years. So why am I still thinking about that? That incident happened. So why am I still harboring all these negative thoughts towards things? And it just puts you in a place where it's a starting point. It's not the tell all end all. Obviously, if you need some help for some level of mental stress or anxiety, depression, or any of the things on that spectrum, please go see a licensed therapist, a doctor, or somebody to be able to help you through those things. However, start off with just unloading all of the things that you believe are wrong with you. And I think over time, when you look at it from a fresh perspective, after you've allowed your thoughts to unload and come back and look at it again, you may find that more than half of those things aren't really much of a factor in your life and that you can probably move forward from a lot of those.
So, Mr. Amar, what are the some limiting belief holding you back, and how can you overcome them?
Failure, failure, and failure, and just a lack of confidence. Sometimes you just take a lot of losses in life, and maybe you feel like every time you try to attempt something, something bad happens. Um, I wrote this book right in the middle of COVID, and so I was hearing all the cries of different people over many of different things, whether it was something socioeconomical, whether it was something health wise, whether it was something political, whether it was something, spiritual. There were a lot of different battles going on during that late 2019, 2020 to 2021. And I wrote the book on the strength that there were so many conflicting ideas coming through from so many different people, from so many different facets. And I listened to it from all sides and from all different types of people. And I just had enough of it. And there are so many things that we can do to move ourselves forward, but the main thing is to let go of that which is holding you down. And most of the time what's holding you down is the person in the mirror. And we don't like to bring that up because we like to blame society, we like to blame our race, we like to blame our parents, we like to blame teachers, we like to blame our jobs, our careers, or whatever. At the end of the day, you show up to you every morning. And when you can look at you and say, okay, what do I want? And then you start putting the plans together. You start to reflect, you start to decide, you start to plan, you start to act, and you start to seek and put all of those things together and make something of nothing to become something new. And so many times people are discouraged by these things, and rightfully so, because life is not it's not a cakewalk. It's not easy. Being successful is not easy. Being a great parent is not easy. Changing careers is not easy. Rededicating your life to your faith is not easy. However, all of those things are fulfilling. All of those things have foundation. And when we focus on those things, that becomes the purpose, that becomes the fuel, that becomes the why, that becomes the what is needed every morning to push you through each day. Because failure is going to continue to come, but it's our bounce back, it's our reaction, it's our never say ending fight that pushes us through to the other side.
Certainly, how to handle our setbacks. And sometimes we blame God. Well,
Mm-hmm.
so how can gratitude and positive thinking help you create the most of life?
The positive thinking. Well, I believe that aside from love, that gratitude is one of the greatest virtues, one of the greatest attributes you can live with, because so many times we wake up and we look at life through a particular lens, and we start looking around and thinking that, well, life isn't going as well as it should. But as you were saying, like, for someone who's blaming God or blaming whoever, blaming their parents or whomever, my outlook on this is that every morning I awaken is a gift from God. That's the way I see it. Because to have life means you have an opportunity. And if you have an opportunity, then that means you have an opportunity to win. Now, the opportunity, you know, looking at everything that you're grateful for. I mean, I used to do it. I used to do a keynote back in the day called "Wake Up a Winner," and that was a whole keynote on how to utilize gratitude every morning in your life just by just walking to your restroom or your bathroom every morning. And I would do I don't know how far people's restrooms are from their beds, but it was like once your feet hit the ground and you say thank you for every foot that hits down, you start with every step reciting, thinking, acknowledging something you're grateful for. Wow, I have a home. Wow, I have central heating and air. Wow, I have a beautiful family. Wow, I have a job. Wow, I have reliable transportation. Wow, I have the ability to communicate with others. Wow, I have awesome friends. Wow, my coworkers love me. Wow, I love my pets. Wow, I mean just so many different things. And when we can get to the point where you're looking through the lens of gratitude, then now it dissolves all of the what's not working and be grateful for what is. And first, starting with anything else, is the gift of life. Because without life, you are no longer here. And so I want us to sort of look at gratitude at a very, very fundamental level. People might say, well, that's not that big of a deal. Life is a big deal. Having a family is a big deal. Having a roof over your head is a big deal. Not living on the streets is a big deal. Having the ability to see, to read, to act, to speak, to engage, to love, to hug, to acknowledge, to say hello, all of those things are something to be grateful for. And I think we always think that it's supposed to be something large, like some kind of achievement or some sort of car we buy or some house or these different promotions at the job. You have a job. That's a grateful thing. You have the ability to write. You have the ability to do so many different things. That's why when people put together gratitude lists, if they're being absolutely authentic, there's so many things. I guarantee you, if you and I went popcorn back and forth, we could probably fill up 2 or 3 notebooks with things to be grateful for. And I want people to think from that level. And when you do that, your outlook on life, your outlook on engaging with other people, your outlook on the different things you're striving for in life will completely change when you take that aspect of life and focus on the good in your life as opposed to what's not going well.
Certainly, and stop complaining, people. Count your blessing. Count your blessing, people, and stop
Absolutely.
complaining. So, Mr. Ahmad, what would be your advice for those people out there want to create the most of their life?
I think we just came off of it. Be grateful right where you are. Be loving. Be grateful. Be loving. Be open. Be just ecstatic for the gift that has been given to you, the opportunity to go out and do something. We live in a country where there's not too many things holding you back from going to do what you want to do. I mean, we've seen people go from homeless to millionaires. We people saw people go from meager beginnings to having an empire. I think we just need to just sit down and focus and write things down and decide what is it that you want. Now, understandable. Some goals are going to be completely far fetched and may seem a little out of bounds, but I guarantee you, there's steps and there's a process to be able to get where you want to go. And typically when I lay out with people, I tell them to put their goals down in every area of life, and I say, okay, what do we have here? You know, and you look at it and say, okay, this is a doable goal. This is probably a 3-year process. This is a 1-year process, but there's steps you can do, right? Let's just say you want to go to school to be a dentist. Okay, what does that entail? What do you need? Obviously, you need schooling. Okay, we need schooling. Okay, where's the best schools? Okay, now that we got the best schools, okay, how are we going to pay for it? Okay, let's look into those things. And so we just do this sort of work in reverse thing, and we then once we get what it is we want, then now we start looking and saying, not so much is it possible, but how can it be possible? What what are the micro steps to lead to the larger steps to get where we're trying to go? And where there is no vision, people perish. And so you have to write things down, and you have to get it out of your head and on the paper, and lay it out and say, okay, tomorrow we're doing this. Tuesday we're doing this. Every Wednesday we do this. And and the interesting thing is right now I'm actually going through that process because I'm looking to retool my business. I'm looking to reset some things and open up to some new markets with what I'm doing. And I love it because it's like you're going back through in real time, almost back to grade school and going to the fundamentals of things. And it's a beautiful process. And thankfully, my faith is in a place to where I can believe and know that better days are ahead, but we have to endure through the tough ones to be able to reach that goal.
So, Mr. Ahmad, what will be your short-term and long-term goals in writing?
What will be my short term and long term goals in writing?
Yes.
Whew, through right on the spot. So my short term goals would be to get my speaking platform, my one sheet, my press kit, to get that all updated. I've done so many more speaking engagements over the past couple of years, and it is absolutely time to reset and retool and redo my entire press kit, presenting myself as a speaker in so many different industries. I've grown so much in the past couple of years, and I need my marketing now to reflect that. I need my social media to reflect that. I need all of those different things to happen. Long term goals is that I want to get to the point where I'm generating somewhere between 50, 100,000 to $150,000 a month in revenue speaking. That's a very lofty goal, and obviously, I know speakers who generate that type of income, and I'm working to get to that point as well. And so I'm going to have to do the slow step walk up those stairs and get to the point where I'm studying and getting better at my craft to where I'm creating the value to justify me asking for that level of income when I take a stage and speak. And so a lot of work needs to be done internally and externally to be able to reach that point. And I'm willing to take the long road to be able to get there.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Ahmad, and you are most welcome to come back and let's talk about all your goals. So, how role does resilience play in navigating life's challenges?
Can you repeat that real quick?
What role does resilience play in navigating life's challenges?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Uh, we must have the resilience to be able to push through because failure will some level of setback or failure is going to come. And so, not only do you have to have a strong and solidified why as to why you want to push forward and get what you want out of life, but you also have to be able to endure because nothing, they always say, an overnight success. Yeah, overnight it took 27 years. It's typically how that works because we have to be able to play the long game and to be able to know that success does not come instantly. And even if it does, sustaining it is a whole nother ball game. And so resilience is something that comes from the inside. It's not something that can be outside put into you. Obviously I do motivational speaking, and that's obviously motivational for that moment. It can spark a movement for you to want to do something later, but motivation can run out very quickly. Resilience is that long drive, that diesel engine that's needed to be able to go, months, years, decades, to be able to sustain the level of success that you want out of your life. And so I think resilience is absolutely something your audience and myself and everyone needs to have in their tool belt to be able to move forward and reach those goals and reach some new milestones in their lives.
Certainly. So, what are the qualities of people who uplift and inspire you?
You said uplift and encourage one another.
Yes. who can
I would say
uplift and
I would say
inspire
first
you?
to uplift this, the traits that they typically have are being what I like to call servant leaders, of being very altruistic. They look to serve the greatest number of people. They look to serve at the highest level and provide great value to those around them. They want to see others succeed, and in part, obviously, people want to assist them as well. When you have leaders and those who are in power who want to make sure and empower all of those under them, that is one of the greatest gifts you can give to someone else, is to give of yourself, time, expertise, advice, knowledge, wisdom, um, empathy. I know we lose that. We lose sight of that sometimes. Grace,
Yes.
forgiveness. All of those are qualities that I seek to use on a daily basis, and I look for those qualities in others. People who look to lead with their heart and lead with their and lead with an idea of servant leadership. To me, is one of is a great attribute, and I like working with and like becoming that type of leader myself.
So, Mr. Ahmad, to before we wrap up our discussion today or tonight, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Food 101, and its fifth season with my co-host, Chef Alessandro, one of the executive chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. Please do listen to our latest episode. We read all of our letter senders all over the world. So, Mr. Ahmad, what role does giving back or helping others play in your journey?
For me, it is the fuel. Um, One of the things that my company and all of my team members do when we are on the road to go speak, one of the things that we require as part of the contract, that once we have closed the deal, is that the company or the organization or the school or whomever is putting everything together needs to find me a community service project to do while I'm in that city, town, or country. So we'll go speak. We'll do all the things that we're called to do at that, for that organization or for that company. And we typically either come a day earlier or stay a day later to give back. Last time we were in Austin, Texas, we teamed up with a group called Front Steps that helps house homeless people. And so we traveled to about four different sites, passing out toiletries and passing out food, passing out things that they'll need when they're on the streets, and not being able to find housing. Um, when we've gone to other places, when we were in Africa, when we were in Zambia, we went to a primary school out there where very impoverished, and we went and spoke to every grade level of kids there, all the way from the kindergarten all the way up to the middle school that was there. And my organization and those who work with me and for me, uh, we almost enjoy doing the community service more than we enjoy doing the event that we're actually being paid to do. They are on equal playing fields, and so me giving back, me serving in whatever capacity. I mean, even you just made me think of when we went and spoke at chapel as the Salvation Army in Tyler, Texas. We went into that room not even knowing what was going to happen, because basically the chapel is open to everyone. So random people off the street can just come in and just sit down and take in a message. And we delivered a sermon in front of people who were dealing with all sorts of addictions, whether it was drugs, alcohol, divorce, um, yeah, abuse of every type of substance you can think of. And we were able to touch the hearts of so many that that morning for chapel. Um, I have to say that those types of situations absolutely move me in a way that I barely can describe, but with the words of how much that touches me to be able to give back to those people. And I always walk away with a level of fulfillment, knowing that we're giving back to those less fortunate, because that's what we're called to do. Especially those of us of the Christian faith, we are called to give back. We're called to take care of the least of these. We're called to take care of our fellow man, to love our neighbor, and honor those around us. And so that is foundational for me. That is non-negotiable for me. That is not something I do. It has now become who I am. And I'm grateful that I have gotten to the point where that is my mindset and that is how I operate and move going forward.
Mr. Ahmad Vital, thank you so much for sharing Now What to the world. We are looking forward for more empowering books to come. So can you please invite our listeners to support your book?
Yes, booknowwhat.com is the website where you can get a free preview digital copy. We'd love for you to go on any of the 33 different platforms that my publisher has made available to be able to buy the book. Whatever is your favorite one, by all means, you can go on there. We have um, those books are available. They're able to be picked up, and we'd love for you to get your own copy. And if you have any questions about it, you can definitely find me at ahmadvital.com. And if you need to email me, it's info@ahmadvital.com. And we'd love to hear from your listeners.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Ahmad Vital because if you support him, more empowering books like this to come. So, Mr. Ahmad, can you please, thank you. Can you please more invite if you have a website to follow?
Yes, the website is ahmadvital.com, ahmardvital.com. I'm also available on all social media platforms. It's just my name, Ahmad Vital, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of those different sites. We'd love to hear from your audience. And if there's any question, if there's any young people who need some coaching, or if there's anything, any services that I may provide, or come and speak at your organization or your school or your business, please do let me know. We have some openings for this upcoming spring, and we'd love to be able to come and share a good word with you.
Mr. Ahmad, thank you so much for your time. More to
Thank
come,
you, Daniel, for
people.
having me.
More to come, people. See you soon. So, thank you, Mr. Ahmad, and I'm